If you like to make your NFL games a little bit more interesting, you've come to the right place. It's the Even Money Podcast with Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is the Even Money Podcast, the show that's so nice. We do it twice every week just because you guys asked us for it. Of course, Tuesday is the flagship show. We've been doing it for well over a decade, where we go through all of our bets, ATS, as well as the teasers and the over-under. A lot of you have been listening or watching youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL to Tuesday's show for a long time. But now, this is the first year that later in the week, we go over the line moves, the injury information with Dr. David Chao, the former Chargers team orthopedic surgeon. Then we'll give out some props and then a couple parlays, because we know a lot of you like to have a couple parlays in every week, or at least one. So we're trying to give you guys what you want. If you want to see all of these bets in black and white, patreon.com/RT Media. You just sign up to become a member at the Tuckheads level. It's $10 a month. You can do it during football season and save yourself a bunch of time writing stuff down, because our guy, the Australian sensation, grades. He even has all the props down. He has the parlays, and we'll get to those in a little bit in terms of how we did last week. But we have to start, Steve, with the line moves. I got to tell you, I love when the line moves are in our direction for the most part. Not always, but you said Seattle would be the favorites. Man, it's been 3 points already, Steve. It went from Arizona -1.5 to Seattle -1.5. You were all over that.
And the two teams probably aren't going to tie. The game probably is not going to land one, but this is where I love my teasers. So early in the week, boom, teasing Seattle up to +7.5. Well, now we can tease Arizona up to +7.5. We just saw a similar situation, Arizona, San Francisco, where both sides of those teasers would have won. Same thing here. If I was going to play the game now, I'd look to tease Arizona.
Wow. This might be dumb, but can you tease two teams in the same game?
Yes, but it's incredibly stupid. And here's why. It's such a harsh word. What happens is that it's negative. It's severely negatively correlated. For instance, if I told you, hey, Seattle covered their teaser, do I want to tease Arizona given that's the fact? No, because now it's impossible for Arizona to win by 8 or more. Thus, even Arizona +7.5, the chance of that covering goes way down.
Got it. Okay. Other line moves include Minnesota is up to -2.5. Atlanta is down from +3 early in the week to +1.5. I wonder if that's because there's a thought that Jaden Daniels might play. But again, I took Atlanta as a teaser leg up to 8.5, so I got a point of value there. So we got 3 points of value on the Seahawks at +7.5. We got a point of value in Atlanta. Green Bay is now -7. I think we had that. I will say, I think, Steve, I got the wrong end of the line. I'm surprised money's coming in on Detroit like this. I took Cleveland +8.5. Is it really up to +9.5 now?
Yeah, there's 10s popping up. So, that just the feeling is that Lions win was so impressive at Baltimore and so clean that, there's also a trend out there. I've got some other trends, and I wasn't going to talk about this trend, but if you win as a dog of 4 or more, and then you're a dog again of 4 or more, you have not done well historically.
Ooh, okay. Well, hopefully the Browns can keep it close, because I took them getting 8.5 for 2 units. Now it's up to 10. Rare for us to be on the wrong side of the line movement. One thing that helps that for sure is our conversations with Dr. Chao every week. So let's dive into it. Man, I got to tell you, I really look forward to this segment every week. Some of the knowledge that we've gotten from our guy, Dr. David Chao, every week here on Even Money Podcast, episode number 2, has been invaluable. As a reminder, okay, you guys should be not only following him on social media at ProFootballDoc, but you should follow at Six Score, and you should go to the website, sixscore.com. That's short for sportsinjurycentral.com. And because they love us and we love them, they have a free week of sick picks, which includes unlimited premium access to all their picks, data, projections, and insights for you guys using the code Ross. So this is a no-brainer. Everybody listening, do this. SportsInjuryCentral.com, SixScore.com. Use the code Ross to get all their free picks for a week. There's a reason why they've hit over 56% ATS the last 3 years. Just use the code Ross at SixScore.com. Why not? Why wouldn't you use the information for free for a week? See if it's worth it for you. You were good last week, Doc, with the over for the Bills and the Dolphins, the over 49. That came through. You also had a bunch of other good. I can't remember how many of these you said on the show and how many of them were just on the website, but Kincaid over receiving yards, Stroud under passing yards, Kamara under rushing yards, Bucky Irving under rushing yards. You had Caleb Williams with the Cowboys being beat up over on his passing yards. Jonathan Taylor, with the over rushing yards. Drake May on the over. DeAndre Swift on the under. The only one that I remember that you didn't hit, and it was one of Steve's too, was CeeDee Lamb on the over receiving yards because he got hurt.
Yeah, well, that's going to happen. The favorite one that I think we hit, look, Bucky Irving, we talked about the offensive line issues. The man got 25 carries and did not hit his 70.5 yards, right? 25 carries, you're supposed to hit that over easily. And because of the beat-up offensive line, and that's what we were banking on, even with 25 carries in usage, was still under 70.5 yards for the week.
Well, why don't we just start there then with that Bucs offensive line? Really, the Bucs have a bunch of injuries, and so do the Eagles now, actually. So the Bucs, their O-line's a mess. We talked about that last week. Mike Evans is out, but it looks like they might get Chris Godwin back. So I'm curious your thoughts on Godwin. If there's any other matchups here. The Eagles did put Nolan Smith, probably their best edge rusher, on IR. So talk to me, Doc, about who we're looking at in terms of any prop bets for the Bucs Eagles.
There's no question that obviously Mike Williams is out. The Bucs still have multiple wide receivers out. Ibuka's playing, but not 100%. It does look like the first week back for Godwin, but he won't be 100%. We'll take a look at those props. But it's the offensive line still for Tampa that's banged up. And if Bucky Irving on 25 carries can't get 70.5 yards against the Jets, what's he going to do against the Eagles front, even with an injury on the edge there? And that indexes at under 34.6%, minus 34.6% compared to normal production based on health for Bucky Irving. Yes, his prop is slightly lower this week at 63 instead of 70.5, but that's one where we are going to go back to the well one more time.
Got it. Okay, we're going back to the Bucky Irving well on the under there as it relates to that game. Okay, I think the big one, I want to go back to it, is tonight. The Cardinals. So disappointing that James Conner is done for the year with that injury. First of all, I want you to tell me about the injury, but then what does it mean for our betting tonight?
Well, yeah, it looked like an ankle fracture dislocation. The Cardinals are now saying foot. Look, he got trapped under a defender, so we couldn't see it exactly. In any case, it's ligaments and bone. It's surgery he's done for the season. It should not be career, which is good news. But that's not their only loss for the Cardinals. Left tackle is out. They've got multiple secondary starters, at least 3 out. And so this is a matchup, that it's kind of a pick 'em game. Steve Fezzik can tell us the line later on, but it's kind of a pick 'em game. But, Seattle is the healthier side. And yes, no question, Seattle has to travel on a short week, but it is the same time zone. And Arizona played 4 quarters of a hard fought game. The Seahawks maybe played a quarter, a half at most against the Saints. So there's that to consider too. So we're liking Kenneth Walker and JSN. JSN was great last week, as well as Sam Darnold, and that's kind of where we're thinking about Seattle.
All right, so over on JSN, over on Sam Darnold, the receiving and the passing. 83.5 is JSN, 224.5 is Sam Darnold. And yes, Dr. Chao, we told everybody on Tuesday that the line might flip. It was Cardinals minus 1.5. Now they're getting 1.5. Thankfully, we got in on the Seahawks before the 3-point line move. Let's talk Packers Cowboys, because that's another one that's interesting. The Packers, they had 2 banged up offensive linemen. I think they both try to play against the Browns and then they re-injured it? What happened there?
Yeah, Zach Tom, the oblique/hip flexor, tried to play and probably without an injection, tried to tough it out. Didn't last long and is out. And look, you know this, Ross. If you try and play through an injury one week and you re-injure it or it doesn't work, you don't try again next week. You need a break. You need to change a plan. You don't keep making the same mistake, because from a NFL team standpoint, when you get hurt in the first quarter and it's an injury that you came in with, you're just playing a man short for most of the game, and teams do not like that. Roster spots are valuable. So Tom will be out this week for sure. And Aaron Banks played through his groin and looks like he is back out this week. So that's 2 offensive linemen for Green Bay down, but also at least 2 offensive linemen starters for Dallas Cowboys down. Connor Beebe and the guard as well. Because of that game indexes to an overall under. We're not loving Javonte Williams yards. He indexes at minus 20.9%, to the under 51 yards. And Dak too at 22% under indexing for his 237.5 yards.
Last one I got is Monday Night Football, the Bengals. I thought it was a fake stat when I think Chase Brown, the running back, has negative 54 yards before contact this season. I don't know how that's even possible, but maybe you'll tell me you're seeing why it's possible.
Well, both their guards have been out all year. Everyone focuses on Joe Burrow. I get it. And obviously that doesn't bode well for you got to look at the numbers of the wide receivers, and they had a horrific game against the Vikings this last week. But Chase Brown hasn't done a lot, and it's not all his fault. He indexes low again on Monday Night Football here, 22.4% lower than predicted production. And a lot of that is based on the health of his offensive line, left guard, right guard, and they may have another offensive line issue that pops up as well.
Can't emphasize this enough. SickScore.com at Sports Injury Central. Why not get the free week of sick picks using the code Ross? I mean, there's a reason why Steve and Billy Walters and all these pros use them, because it's an edge that is not built into the lines. Dr. Chao, you're the man. Really appreciate the time again this week.
And Ross, the promo code Ross gives you the absolute best offer we have had out there. I don't even remember putting that out there before. So the Six Score boys, Sports Injury Central boys, certainly love you.
I love it. Added value. Thanks, man. More great stuff right after this. Loving the ability to watch seemingly every game these days online with streaming services. There's a new one. Whether it's NFL Sundays or college football games like Big Noon Saturday, NASCAR, MLB postseason, and more, with Fox One, you get it all. Live. Edge of your seat plays, jaw-dropping, high-octane moments, and that feeling like you're right in the action. I mean, listen, Super Bowls, NCAA games. I mean, think about all the stuff you can get. Fox 1, we live for live, streaming now. Everybody I know will be at West Shore Home Field Saturday night for the whiteout. Penn State, Oregon, two top five caliber teams. You know, there's a reason why it's West Shore Home Field, because West Shore Home is an unbelievable company. The best option for your projects. They're America's most trusted home remodeler. How about over 60,000 five-star reviews? You know why? Because every installer is a highly trained employee. These are employees, right? They're not subbing this stuff out. Right now, you can buy a full bath remodel and get a shower, replace another bathroom free. Buy one, get one. Or a house full of windows, you'll get entry door free. 12 months, no payment, no interest financing. And for just you guys, you get an exclusive discount of $500 if you go to westshorehome.com/Ross to schedule it. See website for details, westshorehome.com/Ross. All right, Steve, it's time to go over our props from last week. We kind of talked about this one with Dr. Chao, but you liked CeeDee Lamb over 80 yards. He would have gotten that easily if he didn't get hurt. That's unfortunate. You did take a Dunze over the 60.5 yards in that same game, and that won. So that was a parlay or prop bet that won for you. The prop that lost was CeeDee Lamb. The one that is just devastating, Steve, because I was calling the game on the radio and I had remembered what you had said. How about your guy, Devon Achane? I cannot believe this. First of all, okay, he gets 62 yards on 12 carries. That's 5.2 yards a carry. And then, Steve, he got 9 targets and he caught 7 balls, 29 yards on 7 catches. I don't care what anybody says. That was a great handicap by you. He doesn't get to 99. He falls short at 91. I can't believe he only had 29 yards on those 7 catches. He's like the fastest guy in the league.
He's super explosive. He makes big plays, running and passing. It would have helped if Ollie Gordon had gotten a couple fewer carries. But again, it's a bet I would have made again on Achane. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I guess give a lot of credit to the Bills tackling him in space. But that's got to be disappointing if you're the Dolphins. You get Achane in space that much, he should be doing better than that with that kind of space and yardage.
Real important. Listen to the show early. Dunze, if you smoke dope all week, you listen to the show 10 minutes before the games go on Sunday, you lose because his number went up to 63.5. Lock in the numbers before they move.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Steve. We record these shows, okay, Tuesday, 8:25 a.m. Eastern, and Thursday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern. So yes, Steve and Dr. Chao get up early out there on the West Coast for you guys, for these shows, whether it's your podcast app or youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. I can't recommend enough to turn the notifications on so that as soon as we post the show, you listen or watch, because fortunately or unfortunately, the lines move sometimes pretty quickly. I don't know if it's us or not, but the lines move pretty quickly after we go through our bets each week and discuss these games. We want you guys to get the better numbers. We want you guys to get the better of it. All right. What about, by the way, the Achane, that cost you the one parlay. You had the over on Achane plus the Dolphins plus 12.5 for one of the 2 parlays you gave out. But Achane not hitting the 99 hurt you there. As a reminder, Steve is being graded officially on the props, not on the parlays. The parlays he's giving out to you guys for fun because you like them, but the props are officially graded. And then the other one was the Falcons against the Panthers. I don't know how much that's my fault, Steve. I talked you out of betting on the Panthers on the Tuesday show. I can't believe they won 30-0. You hit the Penix under 220 yards passing, but Bijan Robinson, Algier, neither one of those guys, they couldn't run on the Panthers at all. That was like startling.
Yeah, the entire team went under offensively, basically. Actually, they did get 300 yards, which was shocking to me. But one of the more confusing final scores of the year, how does Carolina win by 30 and lose the yardage by 70 yards and only win turnovers by 2?
All right, so for the week, Steve was down 1.1 units on his props, down 2 units on the parlays, so down 3.1 units for the week. He's down 5.6 units for the year. But again, we're including the parlays in that. So if you just do the
and I want to disclose, hey, you guys want the parlays. I don't want them in my record. I'm giving it to you for fun. I'm not personally betting these. These are fun bets, bet small on. I'm giving the market what they want. You're ordering your steak well done. I'll make it well done for you.
That's exactly right. The important number is that Steve is in the black on the prop bets. He's plus 1.4 units on the prop bets. Okay, Steve, let's move on to this week. What do you got for us from a player prop standpoint?
All right, so I'm going to go with usage, and New Orleans Olave is just getting so many targets. I'm going over 59.5. He should get lots of catches also with his team, a 15.5 point dog. So Olave over 59.5 reception yards.
So a couple thoughts on that. Number one, I forgot about that one, but that's another one where we got some value. I put a unit on the Saints getting 16.5. So that's a full point. That feels like a big number too. Difference between 16.5 and 15.5. I mean, I don't know how many times it lands on 16, but the way these guys are now with trying to make it a 2-score game late or, the going for 2, that feels like an important number to me, Steve.
Yeah, teams going for 2 much more often. Exactly right. So if they're down and they cut the lead to 16, most NFL teams recognize, hey, I'm going to have to go for 2 at some point. Let me do it sooner rather than later. Yes.
That's a startling number, by the way, because the Bills play a lot of zone coverage, and they're going to go to Olave a lot. They're probably going to be behind in the game. I mean, he might get that number just in the fourth quarter, with them feeding him if the Bills have the lead as expected. I love that. Olave over 59.5 receiving yards. I know you have a couple parlays, Steve. Any other props before we move on to the parlays?
It's not a prop, but we're going to grade me in the prop area based upon what Dr. Chao said about the Green Bay-Dallas game. So Green Bay is a dead nut under team. Good offense, but slow, matriculate down the field. Great defense. Dallas was a dead nut over team, but now with all these injuries, when you don't have CeeDee Lamb, you don't have an explosive offense. All of a sudden, you're dinking and dunking to Ferguson 6 yards, 7 yards, etc. So 3/4 of the game looks to play out to be an under. Obviously, the Dallas defense is bad, but you know what? Green Bay hasn't been putting up big points on anyone. I'm based on what Dr. Chao said, liking a lot of players under. I'm going to go under for the game, under 47.5.
Oh, okay. All right, under 47.5, 2 units. Add that to Steve's card here. All right, we have a couple of parlays. Again, we can't emphasize this enough. I think those of you that are loyal listeners or viewers, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL, you know how Steve feels about parlays. But I also have a bunch of buddies that listen to the show, whether it's Neil or BJ or Chuck or whoever. And I know a lot of them just put $100 on a parlay every week, and that's what they like to do. So you got a couple that you like, Steve. Tell me the first one, the 4-team parlay.
Yeah, so 4-team parlay. Turns out when a team is about to have a bye, that's a very good situation because the team wants to put their best foot forward before the bye. The coaching staff, if they do well, oftentimes will give them a little more time off, right, Ross? Before, and not just the minimum required by the contract. So teams pre-bye here, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay, 4-team parlay.
Okay, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay. Those 4 teams have byes coming up next week in week 5. So Steve is parlaying all 4 of them together. Call it the pre-bye parlay. I love it, Steve. I love when we have names for your parlays, if we can do that. All right, do you have any other parlays for this weekend for the folks?
Yes, and before I give my second parlay, I might add some of my critics are like, it can't be that simple, Fezzik. Well, you know what? They're wrong. It is that simple. Do you think these odds makers are pricing stuff based upon when teams are going to have a bye next week? I hear all the time, Vegas knows everything. Vegas knows nothing, all right? The bettors are so much sharper than the odds makers and the bookmakers, and that's why you see these line moves based upon this stuff. All right, there's another trend. If you get drilled, if you lose by 30-plus points, you actually are a good bet the following week. It makes sense. No one wants to be embarrassed, and all week long, the media is calling you out. You guys suck. You can't play. 3 teams qualify. Atlanta. Now, you'll notice we used Atlanta in our other parlay, so it's really important we get Atlanta right. We're going to go Atlanta, Cincinnati, and New Orleans, 3-team parlay.
I absolutely love that one. It's rare, especially early in the season, Steve, for a team to get embarrassed in the back-to-back weeks. Let's call this the pride parlay, okay? Show a little pride after you just got waxed. Falcons, Saints, Bengals. We got the pre-bye parlay and we got the pride parlay. And for some reason, I'm really enjoying making up these names for these parlays. I love it. Here's the key. Make sure you got the notifications turned on every week, and make sure you go right now to patreon.com/RTmedia. Not only is it a cool community of other listeners like you, but you see all of the bets in black and white, so you don't have to try to write this down while you're listening or watching every week. Patreon.com/RTmedia at the Tuckheads level. Good luck, everybody. Hope you guys win some money.
Thanks for tuning in to Even Money. Make sure to also check out the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.